Recording Monday, April 11th, 2022. But you are listening to this on Wednesday. Maybe you're driving to work. You have a latte in one hand, an Impossible sandwich in the other. You really shouldn't be driving like that. Put a hand on the wheel, would you?
You're driving with your knee.
You're driving with your knees. You're wondering, thinking back on the draft, you're reeling from it. Did my team make the right pick? Well, for you, future traveler, it is Wednesday and the bank is open. And today you will get to withdraw some knowledge, because we're going to tell you if your team did a good job. They probably did. Or if they messed it up, and they definitely did. So let's start. Snap Wilson here.
Snap, you're
MJ Tolliver.
A picture.
Huh? Oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah, it was like to set the mood. Set the mood. Robocoko.
That's me.
That is you. That's it. We're the only people here. We're going to be talking WNBA Draft. WNBA Draft fits. The news of the week. In our first segment, which we call Week Sauce.
Let's go.
Let's go. A little bit of a news roundup, some minor point things to touch on. Bella Allery out for the year, personal reasons. Hope she's doing all right. Secondary to that is it does clear up a little bit of room for the Dallas Wings, who seem to have a bit of a rust or crunch. We'll see how that goes. And honestly, it's almost, I don't want to discount the fact that, she had some things going on. She needed to come back, recharge. I'm hoping that teams are not pushing players to sit out when it's convenient for the team. I hope that doesn't happen. I have no reason to think it's not legitimate, but it's just one of those things that crossed my mind because I'm a very, very suspicious person. So I hope it's not the case. I hope she's doing all well. I hope she comes back. I really enjoyed watching her play last year. Destiny Slocum was waived by the Las Vegas Aces. You could say this was in preparation for the zillion draft picks that we were due to receive like within the next day or so. Or it could be the fact that she's playing in France and their season is not expected to be over until well into training camp. She really wouldn't be around to compete for a job. The team has Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Sid Colson, all in camp. Probably all of them would be looked as being ahead of her on the depth chart. So maybe not a spot for her. Probably a good thing to release her now for her sake, so she can find her way to a team that could actually use her. Hope the best for her. I actually think she's quite promising, and I hope she gets a shot somewhere else. Further Races news, they hired one of the team's all-time greats, Natalie Williams, 4-time All-Star, as the team general manager. I kind of feel like she's going to be a general manager mostly by title, and that the decision-making process is going to rest primarily elsewhere. You pay Becky Hammon $1 million or however much it is. You're probably giving her a lot of control over how the franchise is going to be going forward. But it's great to have her here. I hope she gets her number retired. That would be awesome. I want to see some more Aces numbers retired from our past. All-Star game in Chicago.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I might go.
Yeah.
You should come.
Yeah, I'm not far. I'm in Detroit, so.
If you both come, we could do a live recording of the podcast.
I might just do that. It would be my third. I've been blessed. Me, the fan who's only been a fan since 2018. I've been to 2 All-Star games. One of them was one of the most enjoyable games of women's basketball that I've ever seen in my life. The Team USA versus Team WNBA, just beautiful. And I had the best seat in the house, right behind the Team WNBA bench.
Oh, wow.
Watching Lisa Leslie, and it was Tina Thompson, I think, was the co-coach. Just thoroughly into it, like 100%. They wanted to win that game. It was really, really wonderful watching players go crazy. Like they really wanted to win that game. I love watching it again on League Pass. It's great. It's great. It's such an enjoyable game. I just love it. Jonquel Jones, absolute beast mode. I would have given her just the MVP for that game. She was incredible.
I agree. I think she was robbed. That's
Yeah,
my
I think so
lasting
too.
memory of it.
I think so too, but I really, I liked how much she wanted to win the game. I liked how much the MVP winner, Enrique, wanted to win the game. Courtney Williams, but Nigel Laney, they were going hard. They were going so hard out there. It was wonderful. After Team USA won the gold medal, I was like, yeah, but you got beat by Team WNBA. I loved it. I loved it
And
so
they
much.
got
Anyway,
beat by the Oregon Ducks, so
yeah, they got beat by the Oregon Ducks. They almost lost to Kennedy's team. They lost to Team Australia. So wasn't a great run up for them in any case. All right, EuroLeague championships. Sopron Basket beat Fenerbahce 60-55. This was considered a tremendous upset. They have Satu Sabali, Mandazawi B, Elizabeth Williams, Caleb McBride, Alina Agapova, Bria Hartley, Kia Stokes, who was like a DNP in that game. I don't even know why, but stacked team. Probably the most talented team in all of Europe with the dissolution of UMMC Ekaterinburg. They had killed Sopron Basket. They had played 3 previous games against them, absolutely destroyed them every single time out. Sopron Basket scored the first 12 points in this game. Fenerbahce didn't get on the board until like the 7.5-minute mark. And they were down by 10 at the half. They wound up losing the game 60-55. Gabby Williams, I think one of Becky's favorite players.
friend of the pod. She
Friend of
doesn't
the
know
pod,
it, but
Gabby Williams. She doesn't owe us bleep. MVP for the Final Four, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. It felt like 100 steals. She was everywhere all at once. Just absolutely dominant performance. Tremendous European player, WNBA player. We'll talk about that at some point. We have too much to talk about to get into this argument, but she was great. Also on that team, Bernadette Hattar had a tremendous game. Just killed it on the boards. She was fantastic. Breanne January, Stephanie Dolson. So not a team without talent, but they were not expected to win. They won. And when I watched this game, I was going to talk about it because it was completely bewildering to me what happened when you looked at it. It was just, I could not figure out what was going on. The announcer, who was referring to Amanda Zawibi as Zawibi the previous game, which is a nickname I would just love. I wish he would went along with that. But he had no idea what was going on either, and he was completely baffled. And then we kind of found out that there might have been a reason for it. Kayla McBride, in an Instagram story posted today, said that they had gotten food poisoning after their semifinal game against Prague. And she had it. She mentioned herself. She mentioned Satu Sabali. She mentioned Alina Agapova, and she even mentioned the coach. And so that kind of explained a lot. Kayla went 1 for 10 in the final game. Agapova, who is one of the greatest players who has never played in the WNBA. She's the dream for a lot of the Euro fans to come over it for at least one season and give it a shot. I don't think she's interested. 4 of 18, 0 for 10 from 3. Some of the worst taken shots you could imagine. It was completely baffling when I was watching it happen. And now we have an explanation. She had food poisoning, and I don't think I would even be able to get on the floor with food poisoning. And that's basically why they lost. They put up a valiant effort, but they got off to that terrible start. They wound up losing. And that's what happened. We'll have a little bit more to talk about that further on. The Fenerbahce team received some very, very bad feedback from their fans. They have a very, very wild fan base. If you watch the games, they're very, very into it. Like it's like a soccer fan base. And they have what are called ultras, which are the dedicated, super crazy fans. So they got some bad tweets or whatever from them, people bagging on them. We'll talk about that a bit later. You hate to see it happen. All right, and that's basically our news for the week.
So Snap, did anything else happen this week in the world of women's sports?
In the world of women's sports, am I missing something in my notes? Please illuminate me.
I mean, there's 36 female athletes who might have
they might have a new
about.
job. We have the WNBA draft. And when you think about the WNBA draft, the future is unknown. Some players that we have high hopes for, they're not going to live up to them. And there's some players that we're not thinking about at all, and they might be great. So we're going to save that for a little bit, and we're going to talk about something a little more concrete, something where we have the answers for you right now. And that is, who looked the best at the WNBA draft? Who had the fit? And I think Becky is the most into this. I'm going to let her lead off, and we'll throw in some comments where we can.
Okay. I have highlighted a few names in my notes. I have a top 6 that we can run through in
Top
draft
6?
order. Yeah.
In draft order.
Well, that's how I have them in my notes. So we'll go
Okay.
through it. At some point, I may, fully rank them. Obviously, we just watched. These are the first impressions. Shakira Austin, number 3, looked absolutely fantastic. She was wearing, originally I thought it was a jumpsuit from far away. I believe it was a 2-piece set. Kind of the top was a fitted turtleneck with an all over black and white pattern with matching high-waisted pants.
It is a 2-piece. I'm looking at her move around and take Papa Shot, and that's definitely a 2-piece.
Yeah. I went to her Instagram. It looks like she used a Black designer who owns her own fashion brand called Nicole Shante. She had some cool stuff on her Instagram. So you like to see stars wearing clothes from Black designers and more underground designers. She went with the simple hair, just with the curls. I kind of would have loved to enjoy the full red that she sometimes rocks during the season. I think of it as kind of her iconic look. But I thought that was a really, really strong look.
I loved her hair.
I was
yeah, I loved her hair. Loved it. I love the color because the way it went with the suit was really, really nice. Here is my total non-fashionista thing. It looked like magnetic sand, like one of those things where you kind of move it around and make patterons.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
And is that a positive or a negative?
Yeah, I was about to say, no, this is, I'm not being negative at all. But that's immediately when I looked at it, I'm like you should be able to like run a magnet across it and watch it move around. That would have been totally cool. That is a good feedback. I like that's cool to know where it came from. I wasn't in love with the high collar personally. That was about the only complaint I would have about this outfit. And I especially love the way her sandals went with it. I thought that was also really, really nice.
Yeah. It's like her sandals went with her hair, went with her necklace. All she really needed was like a gold watch at that point.
Yeah, it does look a little bit silly when she's taking Papa Shot though. So maybe not the total utilitarian type of thing that you want to wear out for recreation. But yeah, totally striking look. Absolutely, she stood out to me immediately.
My next look, draft order: Indiana, Emily Engsler, our glue girl.
Yes.
The enemy of the horse girl, as we know, Emily Engsler. She was wearing a fitted looked like traditional male suiting, but black pants, white top, a glitter jacket. This was definitively a thirst trap for a certain type of women. She would do very well on lesbian TikTok if she wanted to go there. I just thought she looked fantastic. I don't know.
I need some inroads into lesbian TikTok, I guess.
She's one of the girls that could be on lesbian TikTok and just kind of poses while there's music, and she would have a lot of followers.
What do you think about the no socks?
I like it. I think that's a trend in male suiting right now. The loafers were great.
Very true. I hate it though.
Okay.
I don't like that trend. The rest of her outfit, no problem. She looked a little bit like a magician to me. I was like, if you go up and like snap a cane out and pull a rabbit out of your coat, just complete the effect. No, but I can't take issue with it. Especially liked her collar undone. She had the collar undone and one button undone.
And the jewelry.
Yeah.
Earrings. Yep.
The earrings and no, can't hate.
Okay, my next, Rae Burrell. She looked like she could be on the cover of a romance novel. A white draped dress with a corseted bodice. The dress was the star of the show. Her hair and makeup were just beautiful. I thought she just looked beautiful. Just like this is a date if you want to go that route, to just look gorgeous, and she did that.
Yeah, I was thinking like Amazon from Paradise Island, like in one of those Wonder Woman movies. That's what that outfit looked like to me. It was like this classic, almost a toga, right? But it's not. It looked really good. She looked gorgeous. The hair is fantastic. Love the off the shoulder. Love the high leg on the one leg. Like the shoes, the works. She looks fantastic.
Yeah,
she does. Like she's going to a wedding reception or something.
That's true, though. white to someone else's wedding, that's a problem. But yeah, she could wear it to her
Yeah.
own reception,
Right.
or maybe out for a bachelorette party.
For
depending
sure.
on what's going.
You can walk down the strip in Vegas in that and everybody knows you mean business.
My next pick on the totally opposite end of the spectrum, Queen Egbo. She was not at the draft. I was trying to find the looks of the women who weren't at the draft. Found Queen Egbo. She was on her couch with sweatpants and slides and a t-shirt, cheering with her family. There's a whole nother way to go, but like she was the most comfortable person drafted today. So I just appreciated that. She's like, well, if I'm not going to be on TV, I'm going to be comfortable.
Right.
Have a good time with the fam. Okay. Just
I
two more.
haven't gotten this here yet. No comments. No notes.
Yeah.
I'll send you the Instagram story. I've been deep into
Yeah,
some Instagram stories trying to find everyone's looks today.
Yeah,
MJ? Did you have
no,
something?
I said you're killing it right now.
Oh. I will keep going. Kirsten Bell.
Mhm.
I love this outfit. It was a forest green suit.
Yes.
And it just felt like it was clearly exactly her style. You know,
Yes.
she was just clearly like this was her suit. She radiated confidence in her interview, and just like the suiting and the look all went with it. I just thought she oozed confidence in this look and was just like confidently herself as she got drafted.
The jewelry absolutely makes it. She's basically like a bowler hat and some rimmed glasses away from Run DMC, and you know that's not a terrible look. No, and especially I really love the color. That stood out to me. I love her shoes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if she had some of those tiny glasses, that would have been a really good accessory.
Yeah, that would have mwah. Las Vegas A's
Chef's
Kirsten
kiss.
Bell.
Magnifique. Mwah.
Magnifique, chef's kiss.
And the last look, maybe the best look, she's just lower down the draft, lower than we expected, of course, is Henny.
Yeah.
Destiny
Yes.
Henderson in her mint suit, mint matching New York Liberty hat, maybe was trying to
Trying to
drop
send a
some
little
hints
message.
that maybe were not caught in the way she expected. She's wearing custom shoes. As we know, they mentioned the draft day, Henny already has her own brand.
Wow,
Anything's
okay.
possible.
Really?
Oh, that's
by
nice.
HP,
What a great name.
right? So it's clothing by HP or Anything's Possible, and she's got some cool looks. I was just looking at them. So it wasn't really a surprise that she came looking stunning, but I thought this was probably the best look of the night.
Yes, 100% agree. And it's all in the details. Not only just the overall look of the suit, but the handkerchiefs, like the two handkerchiefs.
Yes, that's
that
what
she
I'm
had.
right now.
Just when they had the close up, there's a picture of with the close up, the spiked collar bracelet thing that she's wearing, the rings with like the Lucky Charm shapes. I don't know how to describe things. And the pins on the hat, the little clutch clasp bag that was hanging at her waist. I loved this outfit. I love this outfit so much. I was actually hoping the Aces would draft her. That's how much it just completely changed my draft board. And I'm like, please draft this stylish person. I just want to be anywhere in the proximity of her. She looks so freaking cool. This is just a cool looking person. You see this person on the street, you don't even have to know who she is. You're just like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn, you are so cool. It's just, yes. Yeah, 100%. That was my favorite of the night. I love I love Shakira Austin's overall look. That was tremendous. That would be my number 2. And I think Ray Burrell, like you said, number 3 for me. I really enjoyed that. Some of the ones we didn't mention that I really liked. I did like Ryan Howard's outfit. It wasn't, didn't kind of stand out in the same way that ones we were talking about have, but
she did keep with the classic.
Yeah.
The white suit is a classic for the number 1 pick. She did the white suit with the shorts, which I thought didn't work as well as just a classic crisp suit. I
like the tube top shorts combo with the jacket on top. I thought that was kind of cool. I did like, I know it's kind of maybe a weird one. I kind of liked Kanane's outfit. I wished that maybe she had taken the jacket off, because she had the little cross strap type of top that I think looks really, really great. That goes around the neck. She could have shown off the guns. Take that jacket off. It's like the weird, like short-waisted jacket type of thing. The thing that could have also improved it, or maybe striping, like some sort of pinstripe or something, I think could have improved it.
Maybe like one of those belts.
Yeah. Something. I don't know. I'm not very stylish. I just have a lot of bad opinions. But anyway,
No, that was in my notes too, is would
yeah.
like to see the look without the jacket. I did like it with the jacket, but it seemed like maybe earlier in the day she could have used the jacket and taken it off.
Yeah,
And I
take it off when you're
agree,
like ready to go up and show the guns. Come on.
the cross
Bring 'em
detail
out.
was really good, and I kind of
Yeah.
would have liked to see her hair a little more up with it, especially with
Yes.
the jacket and the cross detail and then some of the hair over it. It was just so much going on that it would be nice to have it. I think it just would have been sleeker. Jacket off, hair up into like some sleek pony or some
Yeah. With
look
you
like that to really
100%.
focus her.
Yeah, but it's like super hard to dress people who are that tall. I also like that she had the flared bottoms on the legs and they went all the way down. That was cool.
It made her legs look so long. I was like,
Yes.
I was thinking, I was calculating in my head, like I'm 5'2.5". Are her
Yeah.
legs as tall as
she
I am?
is 7'3". That's just my guess. I don't want to harp on Kathy, but Kathy looked terrible. I hate that outfit. I hate it.
She looked like a basketball. I mean, it was
She
on
did. She was dressed. I tweeted that she looked like she was an executive at the Willy Wonka factory. I could have sworn that I'd seen Oompa Loompa
I've seen that
somewhere
tweet.
with that coat. I went looking for it just to find it, but I couldn't find it. So maybe it was just one of those things that's in my head. It's so bad. But anyway, you know what? We're not here to bag on Kathy. Anyway, yes.
I actually liked Nayara Sabali's dress.
Okay.
It was, it wasn't too much, but if you want to translate it to something, just for fun, it's like, yeah, it's a funeral in the league right now. We're all black. Like,
Maybe she was expecting to go to the second round.
Yeah, I think
she was in mourning.
She was in mourning.
Yeah. I mean, it was a simple little black dress. I thought she looked really beautiful. I think maybe this happens in her career as well. Like I was comparing her to Satu Sabali, who had one of my favorite draft looks of all time. She had this cool pattern suit with like a patterned backdrop and all represented all these different cultures that she was bringing together and had this whole meaning behind her look. And then Nayara wore a simple little black dress. And I was like, okay, it's good, but
Right. No, like anybody shows up in their outfit, I'm not mad. They all look fine. I like that Veronica Burton showed off the quads. She's got really, really muscular legs. So maybe that helped her draft stock. I don't know. Who can say?
I thought it was a little casual personally. I mean, I'm short, so rompers, I always feel like they look like you're a child. So I think taller women can pull them off a little better. I think this is a look that may not age well. Like it's fashionable now, but it might be in 5 years. Like, why is she wearing a ruffled romper to the draft? I feel like that will. It may not age well.
Could come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
And I kind of like Nia Clouden's top. I don't know that the fabric looks a little weird to me. Like it's got like a burlappy sort of texture to it, but
yeah, it was a
I can't really
thick
say.
fabric.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of it. Like it was like a fancy dress that had like a zip up collar. So it's kind of like this athletic detail and an otherwise fancy dress that had these kind of chain details as well. I liked it. Wasn't one of my favorites, but
yeah, that was nice. It was nice. I like the detailing on it. That has been the fashion portion of the 6th podcast of the year. This will inevitably be a recurring segment because drip is very much a part of our league. Moving on to the meat and potatoes, the WNBA drafts. There have been 36 players drafted. Wild night. As an Aces fan, I'm incredibly excited, but we'll get to that. So I figure what we'll do is we'll go team by team and we'll go through their picks and see how we feel about them. Starting with Atlanta, who had the number 1 pick in the draft and went the expected route, drafted Ryan Howard. Can't be mad at that. Second pick, I wouldn't call it a surprise. Naz Hillman fell to the 2nd round. I kind of expected her to fall to the 2nd round. She is what, a 6'1"? How tall is she? 6'2"?
She's listed as 6'2". She looked the exact same height as Emily Engsler, who I thought was 6'1".
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Pure post player, doesn't have an offense outside of 5 feet. So it's really hard to see her translating into the WNBA, but people have surprised us before. Beloved at Michigan, quality person, As far as we know, Atlanta has been really focused on that for reasons. They want things to be nice and calm and everybody to be happy. I think she's probably went to the right team. She's probably got the best chance on Atlanta more than she has on any other team. So I don't hate this pick for them. What do you guys think?
You know, I'm biased.
Yes.
With Nas Hillman.
Yeah, I know you
yes.
both love Nas, and I get it.
Nas
I mean, she made the AP All-American team.
Mhm.
To me, I feel like she's steady, you know, in the paint. I think she's steady down low. You know, just like the last pod, I'm not sure who translates their game to the WNBA, but if there is a place for her to figure it out fast.
You know, who's ahead of her? I guess Nia Coffey, Cheyenne Parker, Mo
Cheyenne Parker,
Billings.
right? Yeah, there's not a lot of bigs. Parker and Billings are probably the two that are going to
I
get
guess
the most.
Coffey's more like a 3-4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
think
it seems like there's room there
Right.
if she can make it work.
Mhm. Yeah, I think she'll have the best opportunity that she can. I do figure she'll probably make the final team. In terms of post players, it's Cheyenne Parker, Monique Billings, Kia Vaughn, everybody, and they're all gone except for Parker after this year. If you want to give somebody a chance, she is perfectly in a position to contend with, even if she's the fourth big for her rookie year. That makes perfect sense for a second round draft pick. She'll have time to figure it out. I think she'll make the squad, and she's a good bet for them to bring her back unless she looks absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So moving on to Chicago. Chicago had a very interesting draft. They didn't pick anybody. So moving on to Connecticut. Connecticut, first round, number 12 pick, Anaya Clouden. I really like this pick at this particular spot in the draft. She is a very, very good shooter. I just if this is where you're going for somebody who looks like they have a pretty decent floor, and not somebody who looks like they could be a total bust at that spot. I thought it was a really, really good pick. And then beyond that, it was some players that are very unlikely to make the squad, both at the tail end of the rounds that they picked in. Jordan Lewis from Baylor, Kiara Smith from Florida. I know nothing about either of these two, but they're both point guards, which is kind of interesting that they went like guard all the way down. I mean, I guess that's
it's where they need the most.
Yeah,
I did see a
true.
very sad tweet about Nia Clouden, which came from Michigan State University, that was like, from East Lansing to Uncasville. I'm like, poor thing.
Is that an upgrade? I've heard so many bad things about Uncasville, but I don't want to
East
judge
Lansing.
it.
I know MJ, you're also from Michigan. East Lansing is a hellhole.
It's a lot of every city has a hellhole here.
Wow.
I like
every
Lansing.
sports town? Yeah.
East Lansing is like an extended frat party. It is terrible every time I've been. So I just, I wished a little better of a transition for her, but it seems like, they don't need anyone else, any more bigs. What they were missing before was offense, and they brought in Courtney Williams, but another guard to fill in that area.
Yeah, she is. She's a tremendous shot. Her best work is going to come from mid-range on out. So she is a pretty good free throw shooter. Yeah, free throw shooting is over 80%. So it looks like she definitely has touch to some degree. Spot up shooter. It's one of those things, like if you're hitting shots, you're gonna have a place in the league no matter what. So it's probably a very high floor for this particular draft, and Connecticut is an ideal team to let her figure it out and bring her along, and at some point she could be somewhere in the rotation. So I don't think that's too bad of a pick.
I think she'll be fine because she's got Jonquel to play off of. So
yes,
it's not like how we're talking about Nas Hillman. Is she going to be able to do what she's able, what she was doing in college?
Right.
Whereas Nia Clouden, she doesn't have to get down there and get dirty. All she got to do is just, like you said, just make shots. And if she's making shots, it's everything else will be taken care of, because Connecticut is pretty well off. So.
Yeah, I agree. Really good spot for her. That's kind of the right. It's like the two sides of the coin. Is if you're in a place where you're going to get a lot of playing time, you might not be in the best environment to bring you along for for development, because you're going to be not playing with players that can help you if you are that role player type. But if you are on a team like Connecticut, maybe you'll struggle for playing time, but you'll also be in a place where your skills can be most effectively conveyed. So now we're going to move on to a team I'm sure that MJ will have a lot to talk about.
Uh-oh.
Dallas Wings.
Oh my God.
Number
All right.
7 pick, Veronica
It's
Burton.
not over.
I probably like this one a bit more than you do, but we'll get to
Past the timeline of the pod yet?
it. Becky can edit it down, and then a couple of 3rd round picks, both exciting players who I enjoyed watching when I was looking at highlights and stuff. Jasmine Dickey from Delaware, Jazz Bond from North Florida. They were fun players. I wish that teams had 15 spots that you could take these players and just let them have a blast in garbage time, but they're probably not coming out of training camp on the team. Veronica Burton. All right, let's just go to it, man. Give me your thoughts. What do you think? How do you feel about this pick, and what do you think they should have done here?
I don't know about bringing another guard in, because I'm high on Mabry, and then you have to deal with Arike having a usage rate like Russell Westbrook. So you need a facilitator more than anything, or I felt like they should have drafted, since she was free falling, they should have drafted Destiny Henderson, or someone that can shoot, someone that can stretch the floor. So Arike can do what she does, but if Vicky Johnson would tap it into Arike's head to say, okay, hey, when you go downhill, look for your teammates, because the defense is going to collapse on you. So we can swing a pass here, swing a pass there. Boom, we got a shooter, or we got a shooter on the other side. And I feel like they should have drafted shooters. Maybe, like I was saying, Destiny Henderson would have been a good fit there. I thought, and that's just, but I really just don't think that they're coached correctly. Like, I look at them and they just look like they're a team that got together and just went to the Y. Like, all right, we're going to all play, girls. Let's go. And they just go, because there's no organization to the way they play. Like, I watched them all last season, and it's just like, okay, what are y'all doing? And then nothing got in order until Alicia came back. And even then, it's just like, well, okay, we're trying to make the playoffs. We're trying. Okay, we came up short, first game. Didn't they see the Sky? And I was rooting against the Sky. And I love Candace. I love Chicago because Candace is there. Because exactly. And I was rooting for Dallas so hard that I'm just like, yeah, just go ahead and beat the Sky, please, so I can feel some type of gratification about this season, because you guys did not play for you to be actually in the playoffs. You didn't play to be there. It was just winging it all season. Satu came late. Because she was coming from playing in the Olympics, and just everything was just out of whack last season. Like, I don't, some games Marina will play, some games she wouldn't. But getting back to Veronica, okay, she plays some defense, but can she facilitate? Can she be the one that brings the ball up and is just like, all right, hold on, okay, let me see what's going on, and kind of pretty much run the playbook by the actual X's and O's instead of just winging it. Because Dallas, the Wings look like they're winging it all the time to me. They just do.
Yeah, if you have good playmakers and players who know what they're doing, then being, going in and just going off your own instincts, I think is fine. I think that Dallas was not the team to do that last year. She plays such a weird system at Northwestern. It's really hard to say how she will be defensively, because they have the whole Blizzard thing there, which is like they're constantly switching and trapping and so on and so forth. And she was great at it, but they're not going to play that she's not going to play that in the WNBA. We're going to have to see how she does man to man. The shooting is probably a little suspect just based on her form. I'm a little worried about that. I think she's a really good playmaker. If that's your concern, I think that's something that she's actually really good at. She seems to have very good court vision. The passes that she makes are really crisp. All of that. I was very excited about her. I do think I disagree with you a bit. I don't think Mabry is the point guard solution. I do think that they need a distributor. I don't know that she's going to be enough there, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, Henderson, I can definitely see that, especially as somebody who can maybe play opposite.
Off of Arike, yes.
Yeah.
'Cause I just
take defensive pressure off of whoever
I
she's
think
playing
it's
opposite from.
I just think it's an Enrique problem. Like, can you
Yeah.
come there and she respect you enough to allow you to play make? Like, because when she gets the ball, it's just like, I'm going downhill. And
Yeah, right.
or I'm gonna chuck. Like, it's no organization to her game. I mean, she's successful. I'm not knocking her for that. But if someone can help kind of harness her instead of just letting her be off the wall, I think it would be perfect. Because Enrique is like a very explosive scorer. And if you can harness her energy instead of just letting her figure it out on her own, and it brings organization to what they do on the floor.
Well, we shall see. It's going to be an interesting team.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Indiana, a very, very interesting draft.
I loved some of their picks and was like, what with some of their picks?
Yeah. They started off so well, and then it just kind of got a little weird. But Melissa Smith went where most people projected her. Don't hate that pick. She's their big of the future. We'll see what that exactly means. MJ, I'm sure very happy. Emily Angsler went number 4 for them.
Yes.
Great utility player. And then Indiana, Tamika Catchings got a hold of the reins. I don't know what happened. Number 6, just way off the board. Lexi Hull, a player who I don't think is terrible. I think she has a chance to be good, but it would have been available where they drafted Destiny Henderson. Definitely. Queen Egbo, I don't know. Hats off to the slacks and sweatshirt queen. I don't know what she was doing being drafted at number 10. Michelle Vopel had her pick there, and I can only assume that Indiana looked at that and went, oh, okay, she's a first round pick, and picked her. Just I don't feel good about that at all. And then they kind of redeemed themselves. 8th pick of the second round, Destiny Henderson, who was the final attendee to get picked, her and her wonderful Liberty outfit. She has to trade that in now for a darker shade of blue with some red accents. Looking forward to that
and
outfit.
A giant sword.
A giant sword. Giant thermometer because it's the fever. And then, God, please don't listen to me. All right, and then
they got a fever
third
today.
rounders, a player I don't know in Amisha Williams Holiday from Jackson State. I'm sorry, Amisha.
Can I give you a few seconds on Amisha Williams Holiday? She's only the 6th player ever drafted the WNBA from a HBCU.
Nice.
The first in 19 years.
Wow.
There's no active HBCU players in the WNBA right now. And her story really stuck out to me. I only watched one Jackson State game, the game they played versus LSU. And I was just like shocked that we weren't hearing about Amisha Williams Holiday constantly, because she has this really kind of cool story where she thought she was going to quit the game. In the middle of college, she thought she was going to retire from basketball. She met her husband in kind of a love and basketball story, like I'll play you for your heart kind of basketball
Oh my
game.
God.
Oh wow. Okay.
Got married, had a kid with him. And when Coach Reed from Jackson State reached out to her to see if she wanted to come play, she sent her pregnancy test and was like, well,
yes,
I can't play.
But...
and Reed was like, okay, we'll get you a scholarship. You'll come back and play after, right? And so she's a student athlete and a mom doing everything for Jackson State. So, a 3rd round player, not sure if she'll make the team, but I was very excited to see her drafted.
That is a really cool story. And
right?
Thank you for looking into it. I am so glad I heard about that. I mean, if you're going to find a diamond in the rough, man, HBCU schools, probably not too bad a place to look. They're not getting scouted very heavily. Maybe they found something. Right. She is a bit older for a draft pick. She's 24, but also, you've grown up. You know what the game is a little bit more, so could be an advantage. Indiana, not the hardest team to crack. Who knows? Now I'm really rooting for her. So,
they probably need the maturity as well.
Yeah, they could probably use somebody who she's also a mom. She knows how to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, their next player was even older, in Allie Patberg's 25, I think. So.
Oh wow, I have heard that name. I kind of know who she is, and Indiana. That's why.
She's played 7 years at Indiana. It's wild.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think she played every year, but she anyway, somehow
Okay, she's
been
been there for 7
25
years. Yeah.
Yeah,
playing.
she probably was going
So
to school and still participating in the
I want to look up if she has kids too.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay.
I will share the article and apologize. I can't remember the name of the journalist who wrote the article on Misha Williams Holiday laying through her story. But I'll share it on our Twitter page for Sixth Pot of the Year. So listeners can read.
That is a tremendous story. That's pretty
I,
cool.
I want to add one little thing about Queen as well, though.
Okay, go for it.
I just think that maybe Indiana was going for a rim runner and like just a hustle player, somebody that could get rebounds and kick back out. That's really what I thought they were going for with that pick.
Could be. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're looking for one specific skill, then that's the kind of player you might find it in.
Yeah,
I don't know. They should learn by now that like they really need from their bigs, they need defense. And the UConn center, Olivia Nelson Ododo, that would have been my choice for them if they were going to go center there. She's not an offensive dynamo by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're looking for potential, I can stand here and be tall and move my feet well and play very, very solid at rim protection. That's where I would have gone.
Though Nisa Morrow dropped, I think, 31 points on her in the DePaul UConn game. Nisa Morrow's like 6'1", 6'2", so just a thought.
Yeah. Well, Nalissa and Shakira just both got their butts beat by somebody we're going to talk about very, very soon. Anyway, moving on. Los Angeles Sparks, they take a shot on Ray Burrell from Tennessee. Injury took her out of her senior season. Her junior year was probably her best year. She's extremely athletic. She is going to a team that has a decent track record of having wing type players play anywhere above where they've played anywhere else. I kind of get excited whenever a wing who has struggled somewhere is now going to Los Angeles. It worked for Nia Coffey. It worked for Sydney Weiss. It worked for Brittany Sykes. There's a little bit of a history here. So Ray Burrell, this might be the ideal spot for her. What do you got, MJ?
Is Derek Fisher going to do right by them? By her specifically?
No, never.
Because they're stacked. I mean, the Sparks are kind of stacked to me now. Like, so is he, for one, is he going to even, like, Liz went over there and I'm just like, well, you know what Candace went through, right? And I'm just looking at it like, okay, Zybe is over there. Liz is over there. There
has to be a trade, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, is Derek Fisher going to do right by them? Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. He'll bench you before anything.
There's only so much room to go around. They have three players on the roster that I can't imagine moving to the 4 in Liz, Amanda Zawibi, and Chene. It would really not surprise me if we find out that Chene is going to be done with basketball and is just going to focus on media. It just, there's something's going to happen. I don't know who's taking that Amanda Zawibi contract, maybe the Fever. And yeah, it's just beyond that, it's a mixed bag. They don't really have any shooters outside of Katie Lou, Christy Tolliver, and sort of kind of Naneka, who doesn't take really that many threes, but she can at least make them when she does. It's a weird mix. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I think they're going to be defensively great.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, let's look at the rest of these picks. Ray Burrell, interesting, very, very interesting in terms of what she did. She has the potential to get a little bit of playing time on this team, I think. Kiana Smith, I am devastated to say I didn't really look at any film from her. I didn't expect her to be a second round pick. So I am very, very sorry, Kiana. Do you have any interesting factoids on Kiana Smith, Becky? Do you have any good stories about her? Anything?
I do not.
Oh, we're so sorry, Kiana.
I have a Twitter follower who's like big Kiana Smith hive, so we can find some insights.
We'll come back next episode and we'll do a Kiana Smith apology retrospective.
Right.
We talked a bit of Olivia Nelson Dota. Like I said, if you were looking for a little rim protection, I think she was probably the best option available. I think she's definitely on the wrong team. What are they doing drafting another back to the basket defender with 3 centers already? Yes. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, she belongs somewhere else. Amy Atwell, highly entertaining player on Hawaii, just a big time scorer. She's one of those on the mid-major schools who gets to do everything on the team. She was a lot of fun to watch this year. I enjoyed it tremendously. Does she have a prayer of making this team? Probably not, but it's, it's cool that she got drafted. So who knows? Maybe she'll wind up somewhere. Anybody have anything else on the Sparks? Let's move on.
Nope.
Minnesota. Their first pick was in the second round because since they traded all of their tasty, delicious draft picks to my team, they took Kayla Jones. Where they got her, great value for Kayla Jones. Just a very, very strange player. Just has a bunch of weird, different kind of skills. Very, very unusual, but also very intriguing. Cheryl Reeve took her, so she's automatically got the, well, Cheryl Reeve took her, so who knows? Might be
I
worth
know,
something.
I trust Cheryl Reeve with my life.
Yeah, I know. Everybody
so.
just kind of like, Cheryl Reeve, she knows something. She's going to do something. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
And then my favorite pick of the third round, the top pick destroyer, Hannah Shervin, South Dakota, 6'1" post player. Right there is the problem. We don't know. 6'1" post players don't work out a whole lot. She can shoot threes. She's actually not too bad at it. Takes a while to get them wound up and get them out. She's she reminds me of how Bella Alary played this past year. Just really smart on defense, knows where to be, has really, really good perception, moves in the right ways, doesn't foul, gets her hands up, just very smart. But at 6'1", it's asking a lot. I'm rooting for her because I love that South Dakota team. They were great. I hope somebody takes a chance on Chloe Lamb, who was the guard on that team. Actually, the MVP of the Summit League. So given that she was playing, Hannah Shervin was playing with her, and Chloe Lamb won the MVP. May not mean anything. I don't know, but I enjoyed watching her play. So if somebody gives her a chance, that'll be great. Even if she doesn't make it, maybe down the line, she'll make it. Minnesota thoughts.
Well, I was looking at the name Shervin and I was thinking like, that sounds like a Minnesota name. But when I Googled it, it said that 100% of the Shervins, at least in the 1900s, were from South Dakota. But I'm glad she
doesn't have to travel far.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
Turn off my mic again.
Becky does her research.
Yeah. South Dakota, the Shervins, 100% from South Dakota.
Wow.
That's probably why she went to South Dakota. All I know is they were a lot of fun in the tournament and I really enjoyed them. Kind of wish they had gone a little further, but for you Michigan fans, that's okay. That's okay. They had a good time while they were there. Moving on to the Liberty, big surprise for me. I thought I was really surprised. They took Niara Savali at number 5. And I didn't expect that. I thought they were going to move to somebody who was a little bit more of a sure thing, but maybe they really just liked her potential that much. If they are really gunning for the playoffs, then I don't really know how much time she's going to get, especially if Natasha Howard is healthy. But we'll see. This could be just like a player that they're looking to for the future. About as wide a between her potential success and her potential failure as you could possibly imagine. Just so incredibly raw, but also 6'5", very, very mobile for that height. I know you weren't crazy about her, MJ, but what do you think about this pick?
I think maybe that's a good thing for her to potentially have to play behind Natasha. Like, it gives her an opportunity to slowly be brought into the system because she has been suffering injuries. So maybe they did that as a move to be like, we know she has the talent. Her ceiling is up here and we can make sure that she's healthy. We can get her healthy and then, throw her out there like full force.
Yeah,
so
I guess I should say she'll be playing behind Dolson, not Howard, but same thing.
And her not having that pressure will make it easier for her to translate, help translate her game, get some reps in and, with the team and whatnot, and just on the floor with the team as well when they're going against whomever. But I did not expect her to go that high. I really didn't.
No, I did not either. You didn't think there was a chance that Dallas might have picked her up just because of...
They have way too many bigs already.
Yeah, I know, they do really.
And I'm high on Thornton. Like, Thornton to me is a hustler on Dallas. And I think they need to feature her more, but yeah, I don't.
My condolences when she is inevitably betrayed.
Don't be mad at me, please. Do.
We cannot go back to the Kayla Thornton talk.
Can't. All right, and then the third round, who also dropped, incredibly dropped because a lot of people had her in the first. And I'm going to mess up this name, and I apologize so much. Is it Sika? Sika Kone?
You could Sika
Yeah.
Kone.
Yeah.
Kone, Sika Kone. All right, we'll go with that. My apologies to Sika if that's not her name. Yeah, this was the stash pick that we had all kind of pegged for Minnesota when they had their pick. And no, maybe she told everybody, you know what, I'm coming over if you draft me. So don't think you're gonna stash me. And I applaud her for that. Good for her. You shouldn't give teams, the opportunity to punch you down the line. So if she does come over, I hope she comes to training camp and I know she has injuries and whatnot. Make a decision on you. There could be some other team out there that may want to take a chance on you. She is definitely, from what I understand, she's higher than a 3rd round pick. All right. Phoenix, only one pick, 2nd pick of the 3rd round, Maya Dodson out of Notre Dame. She missed her sophomore, junior seasons, I think, and then had pretty good year this past year. I don't really know a heck of a lot about her. I don't think it's realistic that she's going to make the team, but anybody have any Maya Dodson stories?
Well, wasn't she trying to play another year in the NCAA and they wouldn't allow her? So I was
maybe
my last knowledge of her, I think she was applying for another year of eligibility, and I guess it was denied because here she is in the draft.
Here she is getting drafted in the 3rd round by the Phoenix Mercury. Anyway.
I mean, I saw her play DePaul and she totally ate us up. So who knows if she'll make it, but she's got some talent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we also forgot with the Liberty, traded from the Seattle Storm, Lorela Kubaj.
I say Lorela Kubai, but
Lorela. That's probably Lorela. I have the emphasis wrong. A player I actually kind of like. Yeah, I would not be surprised if she's got a decent chance of actually cracking this Liberty squad. When Seattle drafted her, I'm like, well, you're probably not making that team. But the trade, I can see it. The
Liberty traded for her.
Right. Good utility player, interesting skill set. I think probably we're going to get to a player that I really, really like. Maya Hollinshead. She's probably like the just under that level, but kind of in the same skill set. I really like her. Great playmaker for a big. Yeah.
She's a great all-around player.
Yes.
Like she passes, she shoots, she plays good defense. Like she just seems like a solid, like role player, kind of ready to fit in.
I can definitely see her cracking this Liberty squad. I think that was a great acquisition. I think they got her at the right spot in the draft, even if they had to trade for her. Solid A+. Definitely happy about that one.
She is wise beyond her years, I would say.
Wise beyond her years. She's like a Himalayan guru of the WNBA.
Let me throw a lob to Becky.
Okay.
So who do you think will translate better, or I should say, or receive more minutes between her and Sabali?
I mean, I could see Lorela getting more minutes to start and Sabali ending up being the better player.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I feel like Kubai just like feels ready to fit into a team, but she was the best player on Georgia Tech and didn't always break out, kind of. Like there were games where you needed her to be like, I'm the best player, let me take over this game, and she didn't always feel like she had
she may not be the ball in your hands type of player, but that's okay. If you can do things efficiently and maybe you don't have to be the initiator all the time, you could still fit in onto a WNBA team. That's where a lot of these players are expected to do at this level when they come. So I think that's solid. Anyway, Seattle, here's what they did wind up with. They went ahead, drafted Alyssa Cunane. That's interesting. And they retained so far Avina Westbrook from UConn and Jade Melbourne from Australia, both players who I think Avina went where I thought she would. And I think some people may have had her going a little bit earlier than that. Jade Melbourne, I figured for at least a 2nd round pick of among the internationals, she was one who was getting a bit of attention. So the Storm drafted 3 people who probably were expected to go a little ahead of where they were, if for some people, and at the same time, they may not retain any of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, am I crazy? I don't think any of these players are making the roster. I could be wrong.
Isn't this is whose last season is it? Not is it Sue?
It's Sue's. Yeah, it's her last year.
And Brianne January's.
And Brianne January, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
so I think Sue might survive that way. I think that is the reason for that pick. Honestly, it's like, okay, well, they're about to go, so let's get ready.
Could
Try to
be.
maintain
Yeah.
or try to sustain, their success that they've had.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if Brianna is going to be back, if she's going to the Liberty, or if she's just going to be like, screw your proprietary rule that for us showing up in camp and not missing portions of our salary. I don't know, really hard to say, but you definitely think that they're going to be trying to contend this year. So it's kind of hard to see any of these players sticking around on a team that is trying to contend. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes. Kunane is that is not a pick I expected from them, but maybe that's what they're looking for. Maybe they're just looking for somebody who can just play the center position, give you 5 fouls. It could be something as simple as that. And then, or match up, at least be a big body that you can throw at some of the bigger players in the league. I can see it from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, because right now they have Russell and Ezzy, and that's it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So, and then, Brianna plays the 4. Like, they are a little thin in the big category. And Kanane's got the outside shot. I've always been a little low on Kanane, but then feel guilty about it. So, I don't know.
You don't have to be guilty. Feel guilty. She makes it work, she'll make it work. But yeah, she plays the way she played in college. It's just not the way she's going to be able to play in the pros. I remember she had one really huge scoring game and dribbled 4 times in that game total.
Wow.
She racked up like 30 points, something like that, and then she dribbled 4 times during that game. It's like, yeah, that's not going to happen in the WNBA. Yeah, we'll see. It's really hard for bigs to succeed and stick, but having her around for a year as your big body and 5 fouls to throw at, the Brittany Grinders, Sylvia Fowles,
the standard,
etc. Yeah. Then sure.
When I think about bigs, that's exactly the
super bigs I called them.
I think about.
Yeah. So I can see it from that standpoint, maybe. So, good luck to her. The Washington Mystics, a number 3 pick. We all kind of expected Mike Thibault to surprise us. He did not. He went with who everybody expected to go in that spot. Shakira Austin. I guess he really liked her, considering they traded down. They were like, we would rather have Shakira Austin than Ryan Howard. Interesting. And then top of that, they got Kristen Williams out of UConn, another pick for that particular spot, number 14. Not too bad, I don't think. Seems like she might be a useful player, at least somebody who could fill out the rotation. What do you guys think about these 2 picks?
I think they had a good draft.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 2 picks, but
yeah, for what it was, pretty solid.
Yeah.
And Thibault knows what he's doing. He knows how to bring in these players and get the best out of them. I think Kristen Williams leaves him a lot of options in terms of what she can do. So she could fit right into that backcourt as a 3rd guard or something like that, and take some pressure off a Cloud. All right, now we're getting back to the team that actually won the WNBA draft. My team.
The
drum roll. Las Vegas Aces.
Okay.
I'm so happy.
I think they had a good draft. I was looking.
They had an amazing draft.
Every pick they got, I was like, okay, Aces.
Yeah. The first pick, I loved it. I tweeted earlier in the day, just kind of like poking at them. Draft pick Maya Holland said, pick her. I was thinking that they would get her with a lower pick, or hoping that they would get her with a lower pick, but I'm not mad. I'm perfectly fine. Just grab her. Don't let anyone else grab her. 6'3", 3-and-D player. Just chef's kiss. I love it so much. I love it. I love her. I love everything about it. It's just the ceiling is perfect. It's exactly what this team needs.
Yes.
Jackie is not so much the 3-point shooter, and it's just great to have somebody in there who can defend big wings, knock down shots. Even the Colorado uniforms look like Aces uniforms. It was meant to be. It's happening. Yeah, she's a great shooter. She's a really good defender. It's just exactly what I wanted. And then falling to us like a gift from the gods, Run DMC herself, Kirsten Bell, out of Florida Gulf Coast. Big wing, super athlete. This is actually a Bill Laimbeer pick. It feels like Bill would definitely have drafted Kirsten Bell, would have just snatched her up. Huge, great athlete, maybe some offensive question marks, but at number 11, you're not complaining. I was amazed that she dropped to us, and I am thrilled that we took her. With
Is
first
there
pick,
such a thing as raising your draft stock on draft night? Because in her interview, like, she sold me on herself. It's like by the end of the interview, I was like, yes, this is an amazing pick.
I haven't even
Also
heard
the
the
greatest
interview,
player
and
in the world.
I'm sold. If you believe in it, I believe in it. So I have to go hunt that down because I'm very excited. No,
Holly
Kirsten Bell.
asked her, like, oh, so LeBron came to see one of your games, and she was like, yes, and I scored 38 points that night. It was perfect. It was
I got ready.
beautiful.
I got ready for that game. Once I learned he was
Yeah.
coming, I got ready for that.
Yeah.
She knew. And I think that with Liz leaving, it leaves their draftees room on the floor to actually operate and fit with Wilson, and to just go off, honestly.
Yeah, there's going to be I think there's going to be enough spacing for somebody like Kirsten Bell to be able to operate, and we're going to see that athleticism come through. I'm very excited. I'm so happy.
I want to go on a limb and just say they're going to win the next title.
We'll see.
Wow.
We'll see. I'm not going there yet.
Prediction Twitter or whatever it is. Yes, the LVA Aces, the Las Vegas Aces, will win the next championship.
It would be my dream.
It's only 2 teams that will have something to say about it, and that's the Sky, of course. I have to give them
sure,
and the Connecticut Sun.
Yeah. Okay. Can definitely see that. And any team with Brianna Stewart, I'm always worried about. If Elena's healthy, I'm worried about. It's going to be a good season. There's the potential for like really good battles at the top. First pick of the second round, Kayla Pointer. Couldn't have set it up any better myself. I love that pick as well. She's turns out she's Nikki's niece, Nikki Vargas's niece. Who knew? I didn't know that beforehand. That's crazy. Nepotism? I don't care. Kayla Pointer is great. Kayla Pointer is a baller. Kayla Pointer is a scorer. She's tremendous. She is so much fun to watch. She's an amazing athlete. She is just attack. I love her to pieces. Yeah. I'm not mad at all at this pick. I love it.
I really did.
Yeah, she's great. I'm very excited. She's gonna make the team. I know she is. She's going to just give us crazy highlights. She may throw the ball into the stands a couple times. I don't care. She's fantastic. She plays at just maximum pace, which is perfect for the Aces. I love her. And then we move on to Aisha Shepard, great shooter for that spot in the draft. Again, tremendous. I don't know that she's going to make the team, but yeah, like if you were going to pick up a shooter and hope for the best, no problem there. And then they went back to LSU. Fastine, don't know.
I have Afua written down as my phonetical spelling in my notes.
Okay, cool. I need to start doing that. Yeah, another LSU product. I don't know a heck of a lot about her, but her numbers are nice, so that's cool. And we'll see. LSU got a little LSU energy going on in training camp. I'm happy to see it. I don't think this could have gone any better. I think we picked the right players at exactly the right spots for where they were.
A lot of player personnel, especially with Becky Hammond coming over there.
Yeah. I mean, no general manager experience, but she's probably done her homework. Nakase, Natalie Nakase, she knows what she's doing. So yeah, this could not have gone any better. I'm overwhelmed that like every single pick, I was just like, yes, absolutely. This is who you should have gotten. Even Fastine Afua, who I don't really know. Probably the right pick. It was fine. Super excited. I think definitely the first 3 will make the team, which wow, bonkers to have 3 rookies on the team.
Yeah,
crazy. But yeah, and now we will go to the sensible positions and not the crazy man who is hosting the podcast. What do you guys think?
I think anything is good, really, because they score. Like they have so many double figure scorers. And then, like I said, with Liz Cambridge going out, you bring in Afua. She's 6'5". She's like insurance, and she's also going to have the ability to spread her wings a little bit with Liz Cambridge being gone. So, and especially next to Aja Wilson. So I think all of their picks were really good. Just going forward, I just think that, they're going to make some noise. Like I said, they're going to win the championship. I felt like they were going to win it. When I seen Aja crying, I'm like, oh, y'all in trouble.
Yeah, that was rough.
League in trouble, because if she's that passionate about the game, I love seeing any basketball player across whatever, women's, men's, if you feel that passionate about the game, it's a championship coming. It is. And her drive, and then you bringing in these talented players now as well, you making room for Asia to be able to operate the way she does. Because I seen Liz down there a little bit, and it wasn't necessarily meshing, because I'm thinking, feed her. They wasn't necessarily feeding her enough to my liking. So I'm thinking that their draft picks fit more of what their offense and their philosophy is going forward. So I'm really high on the Aces because they can score with the best of them. They have the grit. They got the hustle. They got the shooting. Like, it's nothing that they don't have. They're going to take you tooth and nail, and, they just got to make shots at the end of the day.
Becky, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'll say I'm happy you are happy, Snap.
Oh, thank you.
And that what I'm going to take away from tonight from MJ is that every time I cry, that just means a championship is on the way.
That just, if you're that passionate about something, you're going to win.
It's like an angel getting its wings.
Yeah. That just means that you're not going to quit. It hurts you. If something hurts you that much, you come up short, but you have the opportunity to do it again and again, and it's coming. It's coming. Trust me.
That is good news, because I cry a lot. So I've built up a friggin' water tower full of tears, and one day it's all going to pay off.
It's just going to overflow into a championship, whatever that
overflow.
means in your life. That's going to be
whatever that means.
Yeah. Your championship.
It's better than just walking off the court mad, right? Like just walking off like, I'm not shaking hands.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to you crying. Oh yeah.
Hashtag crying gang. That's us.
I'm just coming up with all these little things. First it was Blue Girl, now it's what? Crying gang?
Crying gang.
You're
Hashtag
giving us
crying
so many
gang.
nuggets, MJ. I love it.
That's going to be one of our t-shirts. Come on, crying gang, everybody.
Yes, let's go Aces. Go Aces.
Let's go. Let's go crying gang.
Sorry, right. Drew. I know Drew was mad at me, but I'm in Dallas.
That's right. You gave up. You're Team Indiana now, right? Because
I'm Team Indiana. I love the Aces as well, but I gotta leave Dallas.
Oh, somehow, how did we miss talking about Henderson? Did we skip that? No. So we got Smith. All right, Angsler, Hell, Henderson. How do we think she's gonna do?
Great.
Okay.
She has nothing but room to be great now. Like, I was saying I wanted her to go to the wings because she can help, spell a little bit for Enrique going downhill, but going to Indiana, she has the ability to actually become a focal point now. So I think the sky's the limit for her now.
The fever is the limit, but right. I see.
The fever is the limit. Don't get to 102.
Oh, I got to 102 with COVID. Don't recommend.
Right. So bad. Yeah. So speaking of Minnesota Aces, moving on to emptying the bench, a little bit of, we're going to put a little damper here on it because I have some thoughts on the draft and they're not necessarily positive thoughts. And my general feeling is that the draft is becoming less valuable for the teams that are taking part in it. The reason that I say this is it doesn't, I mean, if you draft a star, that's not the problem. You're gold, you're fine. But we're moving into a position where the price of the draft picks is very, very high compared to getting a minimum salary player, a 0 to 2 year veteran. And that has now, it's definitely cost some teams. It has cost the Minnesota, who would not have been able to sign the number 8 pick, even making the most drastic of cuts. I went through it and I chopped off everybody who I could imagine them actually cutting, except for maybe Crystal Dangerfield, who you could see downgrading to a 0 to 2 year vet. But that would be really quite something if they did that. But they're not cutting Nafisa Collier. They're not cutting Bridget Carlton unless they, Cheryl Reeve just gets a fever or something. They're not cutting Clarendon. They're not cutting Dantas, and they can't really anyway. She's protected anyway. I don't think that she's going to be traded away at her current salary. McCautry, who they just signed, Achanwa has quite the albatross for a contract. Aerial Powers is a lower max player, which is probably a little above where she should be, given respective salary. Obviously, all these players are underpaid compared to where they should be, but within the constraints of a salary cap, it's probably too high a percentage for somebody like her. Kayla McBride is fine. Sylvia Fowles is fine and on her last season. They can't afford it. The number 8 pick is a $69,000 salary slot. The second round pick, number 22, that they did take, 63,000. That's above a 0 to 2 year thing. If you're really struggling and you're like barely hanging on to the end of the cap, and you want to have you normally want to have a little wiggle room anyway because you're going to need it during the season. All of a sudden, these salaries for draft picks get very, very high in comparison.
Yeah.
So those number 8 picks, the number 10 pick, who in a year like this, you might say, okay, well, you kind of hope that they're going to be an average player, so a rotation player, something like that. You can't even afford to take it. And sometimes you can't even afford to hang on to it. If you look at Dallas has, there's the new fourth year guaranteed rule that you can extend. That salary is guaranteed. It's you can't get rid of it, but you can't cut them. Ty Harris, guaranteed for 2023. Even if they cut her now in 2022, they're still paying $83,000. Bella, $83,194 guaranteed next year. And maybe Ty Harris that's a little steep for her compared to paying a minimum salary player $62,000, a 0 to 2 year vet, a 3+ year player, veteran, $74,000. And you're paying Ty Harris $83,000 because you drafted her with what, the number 7 pick, right? I think that was where she wound up. So it's an expectation. If you're even going to hang on to these players for more than 3 years, they have to be really good. And this is even at the number 7 slot, something like that. I don't know what the answer is. The answer to me, it's unsatisfying to say, all right, we're paying the first round picks too much. It's unsatisfying to say that in regards to anything regarding women's basketball.
Right.
But it really puts the player and the team in a terrible position. You got to do it within the first 3 years, or you're gonna have to get cut because they're not going to be able to fill it out. So this is what we're looking at with the draft. All these players that we've gotten all excited about and everything. After year 3, it becomes very, very, to make that second contract, it's gotten even worse. And they might be decent. They might be okay players, might be players you want to hang on to, and you can't because they're going to be too expensive.
Right.
And then we're also kind of moving into an era of, partially due to just, we got pandemic and everything makes it really hard for international players to commit and come on over, because it's a pain in the butt to come here. It's a pain in the butt to get back. And, unfortunately, we're dealing with one of the most lax countries right now. We're living in one of the most lax countries when it comes to treating and preventing COVID. It took Leilani Mitchell until October to be able to get home off of last season. She's got a kid. She's got a wife and kid back in Australia, and she had to stick around for a month because she couldn't get home. That sucks.
Yeah.
And some players are the overseas people are just like, right, it's not worth it. Okay, maybe I'm going to make my name a little bit, play in the WNBA a little bit, and do well, and then I'm not coming back because it's just easier to stay at home, and that makes the draft even less valuable in terms of internationals. I have a feeling we're just not going to see a lot of internationals drafted unless they're like super duper great and seem willing to come over. I want to see Maureen Johan again. She's tremendous. She's a wonderful player. I don't know if we're ever going to see her again because it's just such a pain in the butt to keep coming over. So it's just one of these things. It's just like you want to build from within. You want to be able to get good through the draft. And unless you hit a home run, it's becoming increasingly likely that you're going to just have to do everything
through free agency. That's kind of a shame. I like to see young players develop and, become part of a team. And it's like you drafted them and stick around, please. So I don't know what the answer is. It really, really sucks. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I hate the salary cap. It's too
Yeah.
low relative to the contract. They should have
Yeah.
figured this out when they were working out the numbers and signing the CBA. They should enter into a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, to increase the salary cap so it'd make more sense for everything, because players are getting squeezed on the other end too, where you have top supermax players kind of,
I don't know if we're allowed to mention you're a lawyer, but your lawyer came out. You can cut this if we're not.
I may have negotiated a few collective bargaining agreements in my day. Like, it's also there's squeeze on some level. They're squeezing the rookies. They're squeezing those mid veterans who aren't the 0 to 2 years, where they're hard to stick on rosters because it's either you're paying your top end or trying to just like fill the rest of your bench. And then you got players like John Cole Jones and Courtney Vandersloot taking less than they deserve because they're trying to still have a team with the best talent. And it's just the salary cap is just like was not calculated properly for this contract. It just feels like it's getting worse every year. So I agree with all your points.
Yeah, it's just so weird how they can become less valuable to the teams that drafted them because they have to be paid so much more. I mean, I don't know, just raise the floor or something so that your 0 to 2s, your 2 to 3s, or whatever, 3 or more players are making more in relation to that. It's nuts. I don't know. I hate it. I hate it so much, but that's just the downside of the WNBA draft, other than, 90% of the players not making the teams. We need more teams. We need more teams. We need more roster spots. We need more salary. All of the things we always complain about.
I have a question for lawyer Becky.
Lawyer Becky.
Yes.
Do you think that a solution could be having the draft every other year? I'm
not sure that's a legal question. And I also will clarify that by providing an answer, I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm not your attorney. I'm not creating an attorney-client relationship by answering this question.
Ow.
I don't think that makes a lot of sense just for seasonally and how college works, given that most players are drafted out of college. I'm still someone who wants student athletes to be student athletes a bit and get their degrees. So that creates trickiness unless like something like Athletes Unlimited expands or there's an easier way for players to keep playing until the next draft. But otherwise, I don't see that being the solution.
Okay.
Cool. All right. That is it for the WNBA draft. We probably went over quite a bit, but you know what? You only have one of these a year. So moving on, let's go to the Robocoko Rants. This is going to be our emptying the bench section. So which one do you have a part 2 listed here? I don't know which one that is. Whichever one you want to start with.
I have a rant rave today.
Okay, go for it.
They're all quick, so I thought I would lump them all together. The first is a quick rant. We mentioned this earlier at the top of the pod regarding the Euroleague championship. Kayla McBride, who plays for Fenerbahce, posted to her story explaining the fact that her and a number of her teammates had food poisoning. But what's heartbreaking about this story is, as she goes on, she says, "I'm truly sorry. Please stop the hate messages to me and my teammates. We do not deserve it. We have left everything out there for you. We know what this means for your country, and we carry it with respect from top to bottom, etc., etc." Whoever is in these players' Instagram comments, mad at them about playing a basketball, knock it off. Get out of there. You don't need to be in there. Get a hobby. That is my quick Robocoko rant, part 1. Part 2, I set up a group for the fantasy draft. I'm very excited ESPN is now doing fantasy for the WNBA. It is a no-brainer. It would have been a rant last year that no one besides sports.ws was doing WNBA fantasy, which just seems like just a no-brainer to build the marketing. As I was going through today, though, looking at who might be winning, I found that there was someone who joined my Robocoko roundtable who named themselves a transphobic name or a transphobic comment. And whoever that is, you are not welcome at the roundtable. You're not welcome in this podcast community or on my Twitter page, like whoever it was who found it from my Twitter, get off of it. You're not welcome. I'm not going to tell you why you were wrong. There's no debate. Get out of here with transphobia.
Fair.
So that just came up as we were recording. So I needed to get that out. But then I want to end with a quick Robocoko rave, turning back to the WNBA fashion. And as we are talking about some of these players, it just reminded me how much I love the WNBA as a space that's so welcoming for queer people and welcoming for people of all gender expressions, and seeing so many players be able to dress what seem to be authentic to themselves. Some players with, wearing really traditional men's suiting and really masculine presenting, and some players more feminine presenting. I just love to see it, and I just love watching this on ESPN on the highest levels. Athletes being able to present themselves, present their gender in whatever way is right to them. It just moves me, and I just love to see it. So I want to highlight that that's something the WNBA really does well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just it never even occurred to me before I started following the WNBA, but how cool is it that you can be watching a sports league where teammates are married?
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The acceptance in the NBA is really good. It's like she said, it's just open arms, it's warm, it's welcoming. It's not, like how the NFL was with Michael Sam, and how the NBA was with one of the Collins brothers. It's just wide open, to the point where you don't even know it exists until the news comes.
Right.
And it's not a big thing there. So praise to the women's game for pushing things forward and just allowing people to be, because that's really what it is. That's what it's about.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's fantastic, guys. We got through our second episode. This was great. Really enjoyed it. And let's talk a little bit about where we can find everybody. I am Snap Wilson, all one word, on Twitter at twitter.com. There's only all one word. I don't even know why I bothered to say that. It's Snap Wilson. It's spelled the way that you think it is. You can follow me if you like. Robocoko, Robocoko. Becky has a very, very cool best of WNBA fits of the past article, which I enjoyed perusing through today. I think she's right. She's right about everything. So that's why she's here. Somebody has to be. Opinionated _MJ for MJ Tolliver on Twitter.
I don't really want to plug anything, but our team. You guys follow WLead. You could just look that up on Twitter, WLead, theleadsm.com. Follow Becky, follow Snap.
Follow the account by all means. Even if you don't follow us, follow the account. Sixth podcast of the year with the number 6.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna be open up to doing some other things, maybe on Twitch, maybe with Twitter Spaces. Who knows? We're all open. If you guys have any suggestions or things you want to see or hear or talk about, please hit up the account. Feel free to send us a tweet and let us know what you think might be some good ideas, because we are open to all sorts of good ideas. We're gonna have a good fun time.
Also, remember, you can, as the kids say, smash that follow button.
You can smash it.
Yeah.
And, rate, review, subscribe, etc. to the podcast network to get our pod and other pods.
Smash the button, get your pods.
Retweet
it, like it, smash it, hammer it, destroy your keyboard in order to absorb our content.
Yes.
This has been the 6th podcast of the year. You now know whether or not your team did a good job. They probably did. Actually, you don't know that. We're going to find out. We're all going to find out together on this crazy ride. But you're not allowed to drive because you have one hand with a coffee and another on a sandwich. I'm Snap Wilson.
And driving with the knees.
Driving with your knees. Terrible drivers out there. Don't do that. I'm Snap Wilson. This has been the 6th podcast of the year. We'll see you next Wednesday. Good night, everybody. Or good afternoon. Whatever.
Bye.
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 It's a good chaotic ending. Great work,
That's
everyone.
it. That's what we have. We just don't know how to end anything.